right, so good evening, everybody. We have a bunch of people here in Gaddy Hall with us. The microphone's going to stay on. The microphone's going to stay on. All right, so this is our capstone honors course, Surviving HN450, which is Honors Program Research Seminar. And we say almost because the students aren't quite done yet. They're putting final touches on all of their presentations. But I am the instructor for this course. So at some point, if you're going to do your bachelor's degree, you will come through HN450 and you will have me as your professor. So in terms of our agenda tonight, we will have this brief introduction. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the whole process of the class. And then the students who are here will tell you a little bit about what they've been working on. Because when you get to HN450, you get to select your own research topic. And what we do in this class is it's not a research paper. It's actually something called a research proposal. So it's quite different than what you're used to. And then we'll take any questions that you might have. So when it comes to the research process, what we do, right, is oftentimes what you guys think about is when you read something, you read it from beginning to end, right? There's an introduction, a literature review, a methodology, references, and appendix. But the way that we've gone through this semester is first, of course, you pick a topic, but as you can see, we've written it completely out of order, right? Because in order to do a research proposal, you have to do a lot of secondary research, which is why you do something called an annotated bibliography. That helps you keep all of your information organized. It helps you take notes on your sources, right? And then eventually what you do is you take those sources and you transform them into something called a literature review. And a literature review is basically just like what the name implies. You're going through and you're reviewing all of the information that came through your sources and what that information means. So if your topic is, let's say, I don't know, let me pick a random topic. Let's say you want to study why college students don't like to go on field trips. Random. Okay, but you can, or that would probably be called engagement, right? I could look up a lot of articles about what engages college students versus what doesn't engage college students, and then I would be able to kind of review all the things that have been researched. But what the students in this class have done is they've done a ton of research about their topic, but then what they've done is they've also said, there should be more research done about this, because one of the things about a topic is you can never stop researching, right? I mean, I think that's one of the things that you should know. In research, I kind of think of research like the Lion King. It's the circle of life. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. And the people before us contribute to the people that come after us, right? And so on and so forth. So once you do research, you become part of that chain. So what these students did was they identified an area in their topic where they would like to do more research. So this is what we call primary research or original research, right? And oftentimes people do that by conducting either surveys or by doing something like focus groups and interviews. So what they did was they proposed a methodology, which is a plan to conduct that original research. So this is what they learn about in HN450. And eventually, if you're going to do your bachelor's degree, it's something that you will learn about. But I do want to take the floor and turn it over to my students so they can tell you a little bit more about it. So the first student who will say hello is Nicole. So when you're ready, Nicole, you have the floor.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is Nicole Nunez. My presentation is about the impact of rhinoarthritis on women. What I have learned from my research is that rhinoarthritis is a very rare condition that is diagnosed mostly in women than in men. It is a rare condition that is difficult to find in your blood vessels. Having the disease can have some major effects, but it it could cause other complications in the body. Genetics: women have two X chromosomes, while men have one X and one Y chromosome. Studies have shown that the X chromosomes may have the gene that I have, the gene of RA. Therefore, having these genes can make you have a higher chance of getting the RA disease in women. During RA, the mental health of women is very serious because you can feel very emotional and can be in mental stage. The impact to manage are the concern of anxiety, depression, and change in mood. These are very common because RA is a chronic illness and women have many ways to feel. Women with this disease can have a hard lifestyle because many things change when it becomes challenging. Rhinoceros is a mental health condition that can cause any risk to the body organs. Go to the next slide, please. My purpose problem was RA has a huge impact on the way women find their own treatment. Studies have shown that the medical treatment that are used for RA are Nexco and ibuprofen that unfortunately can cause stomach and bleeding. The other type of medication called disease modified and rhino drugs such as mexaltib and hydrochlorines are biological medication involving the quality of life in patients suffering from RN, but still have their own symptoms. The patients are still in pain, fragile, and have problem performing their regular activity. Doing more research will help with finding a new way to make RN more effective to women and how to make one lifestyle back to normal. The method I use is a quality research. I will be doing an interview to better understand how women under 30 feels about having RN. I will be asking questions and will discuss the RA on women and how they cope with the disorder symptoms. It will only be women. It will only be women. I will be finding results on how it is different and similar to each woman and how we can help each other during this disorder. One tip or advice I give students that want to do research is when doing a paper, think about your topic, do some secondary research, take an amount of notes about the topic you choose. Make an outline with the first and secondary research and find connection from them. That will fit your paper. Use the bibliography annotated to make your writing more informative. Lastly, ask your teacher or professor to help you when you need help. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. All right. So the next person up will be Yadira. So I think she's also in our room. So whenever you're ready, Yadira, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Yadira Marmolejos Contreras, and my topic is called The Impact of Social Media on Generation Z Activism. What I've learned so far about my topic is that TikTok serves as a powerful platform for youth activism, enabling young individuals to creatively address and challenge social issues such as racially insensitive trends and climate change. The platform's audiovisual features, user-friendly editing tools, and unique combination of humor and emotion empower ordinary young people to become creators, fostering a sense of agency and driving youth-driven online activism. My problem statement is that though current insights offer a robust understanding of Generation Z's involvement in social media activism, the fluid nature of both this generation and social platforms necessitates continuous research. Future studies should focus on the ethical dimensions of youth activism on social media, scrutinizing potential consequences, and addressing challenges associated with online mobilization. This includes examining privacy concerns surrounding personal data usage, the ethical dissemination of accurate information amidst pervasive misinformation, the influence of algorithmic biases, and assessing the long-term impacts of online activism. Understanding these intricacies is imperative for harnessing the potential of Generation 6 digital activism while navigating ethical challenges within the ever-evolving landscape of social media. The methods. The proposed research will utilize quantitative methods to investigate the ethical dimensions and dynamics of Generation Z's involvement in social media activism, employing a survey as a way to capture a broad and systematic understanding of the behaviors, perceptions, and ethical consideration of a diverse sample of Generation Z individuals engaged in online activism. The survey, distributed among this demographic, will gather quantitative data on various facets of their digital activism, including frequency and nature of engagement, preferred platforms, perceived ethical challenges, and perceived outcomes of their advocacy efforts. Some tips for choosing a research proposal topic is that you choose something that you're passionate or curious to explore further. Avoid overly broad topics that might be too extensive to cover thoroughly. Likewise, stay away from topics that are too narrow and limit available research material, and to stay open to adjusting your topic as you delve deeper into your research.
Thank you, Yadira. So you guys, right? Social media use, right? I mean, do you guys relate to this one? Right, with advocacy and all the different movements, right? All right, so there is another one. So I think Akinados is in the room, so I'd like to turn the mic over to you so you can tell the students who are here a little bit about your topic.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ekinadas Ukmoma. Today I'll be talking about post-traumatic stress disorder amongst African Americans. What I've learned so far in this in the course of my research was about post-traumatic stress disorder amongst African Americans. It underscores the significance of approaching mental health within a cultural, historical, and community-specific context. By recognizing the diversity of experiences, promoting cultural competence, destabilizing mental health, leveraging resilience, addressing systemic inequalities, and acknowledging intersectionality, the cross-cultural validity of post-traumatic stress disorder within the African American context, drawing insight from the work of Hinton and Lewis Fernandez 2010 by evaluating the implication of the DSM-5 criteria. This research provides crucial insight into the accuracy of diagnosis and the planning of effective treatment. The problem: post-traumatic stress disorder is a passive mental health condition that stems from exposure to traumatic events, causing persistent distressing symptoms. While extensive research has contributed to our understanding of post-traumatic stress disorder, there exists a critical gap in comprehending the manifestation of this disorder within the African American community. The research gap in understanding PTSD among African Americans is a significant impediment to addressing the mental health needs of this community. Method: this study will employ a quantitative cross-sectional survey designed to gather data from a large sample of African Americans. The survey will explore the prevalence of PTSD, the impact of racial and ethnic discrimination on symptom severity, and the effectiveness of culturally sensitive interventions. Patients were excluded from the study if they were mentally retarded or were not able to give valid informed consent. The research will employ a stratified random sampling approach to ensure representation across diverse demographic characteristics within the African American community, and a structured questionnaire derived from validated PTSD assessment tool and informed by the literature review will be administered to a sample of at least 200 participants. Recruitment will involve collaborating with community organizations, mental health clinics, and online platforms to reach a diverse and representative sample. Tips, dear fellow students, when writing a research paper, it can be very frustrating. My advice is take corrections. My advice is take corrections from your professor. They know better. Ask for help from fellow students. Don't be shy about it. And your professor as well. They can help you. They can give you guidelines. And lastly, don't give up. Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah. So Akita has really uncovered, thank you, Akita. Thank you so much. I know that like with post-traumatic stress disorder, like a lot of times we think about it as being, in relation to kind of like a specific trauma, like, something terrible happens in your life. But there's also what we call like intergenerational traumas and racial traumas, right, that we're learning more and more about, right, as a society that really do impact people. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Javiani, who is also here. She's our last like live presenter, and we actually do have some pre-recorded stuff. So Javiani, you have the mic.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So my research is about how illegal immigration affects our society. What I have learned is that we can capture from how illegal immigration affects our society is to open our perspective on how we see immigrants and the importance of them to our economy system, to our diverse culture, and the capability to do tasks that no one else will take. This research was to focus on their hard work and their challenges they face through their stay. My problem is that there are many ways in which our society gets affected by illegal immigrants, such as our economy, our diversity, and higher criminal activity. Due to recent events where many immigrants have been the subject for relating into criminal activity, it affects every person in each state, making harder the process to understand the immigrants' troubles and how we can contribute for their state, or if it's better to get them out of the country. Understanding their effort and the support that they bring to our country could make a significant difference on how we see them today and how we are able to change their life. My method. This research will provide a quantitative survey that American citizens will take with questions surrounding their understanding about the benefits of immigration, both legal and illegal. Some of the topics that will be addressed include how immigrants support our economy and how we have increased our diversity and enjoying of the rich culture around us. Some tips. One advice to give students throughout the creation of a research is to keep in mind that there will be millions of ideas to put across each section, but it will be better to separate them and pick the ones that stand out the most, so the process could be easier. Lastly, always listen to your professors and their correction. Have someone who can check your process and take their advice as a learning experience. Thank you.
So one of the things that I'll say about Javiani's topic, I think everybody in this class really took on a topic that meant a lot to them in terms of like a personal passion. Because in this class, when you pick a topic, you stick with it for the entire semester. So it's one of those things where you have to really, feel close about your topic or have a real interest in it, right? And can't you hear how interested the students are in all the things that they've been doing as you've been listening? So thank you, Javi. All right, so we have two students who couldn't be with us tonight because of classes. So what I'm going to do is they did pre-record, so I'm going to let them speak to you, all right? And then we will wrap up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chikuchikuto, and this is my presentation for the honors conference. And my part of the presentation is the use of technology to provide healthcare for Americans and Gen Z. From the presentation, what I have learned in my research is since the pandemic, many healthcare, especially mental health, are being taken more seriously due to the conditional isolation many have faced, caused in a serious mental and physical strain on the healthcare of others. Since the pandemic, the healthcare system showed its lack of preparation in handling crisis and how poor African Americans and other people of color are struggling to find affordable healthcare, even when affordable healthcare are being provided are too expensive to afford. My problem statement. My problem statement is the proposal I was researching was to provide an understanding over the years how healthcare has not changed. By understanding the different barriers and stigmas related to administering healthcare and how environmental and economic factors contribute towards the lack of care that people receive. By tackling by tackling this issue, the many individuals of African American descent face in an impoverished society is important in understanding how to create a system that provides the care that is needed and they can receive.
That's Bella's. Well, one more thing. This is a short one.
The method of my research incorporates both a qualitative and quantitative method of analyzing how the socioeconomic situation of poor neighborhoods in America are affecting the type of care, both mentally and physically, that can be provided by people in lower income communities. My advice is to follow the feedback provided by the professor because using it makes creating a proposal a lot more easier and conducting the research a lot faster to achieve the goal you want to make. Thank you and have a good day.
So Bella also, so again, one of the ways of doing good research is by narrowing like your research audience. So like for instance, picking a particular demographic. So in this case, African American access to healthcare. And her research kind of spanned a lot of stuff, but what I found that she tended to focus on a lot was, the mental health and well-being of the African American population because of the stigma that surrounds. So what I would say to the folks who are here physically, if you want to make your way to the shuttles and do things like that, that's fine. There is one more pre-recorded presentation. I'm going to play it for the purposes of the recording. So if you want to stay for as long as you can, but otherwise you can, thank you for joining us. And thank you to my students who presented. So our last one, yes, exactly. So our last one is by a student named Frank Costantino, and he will give his remarks.
Good evening. Thank you all for listening to my presentation today. My presentation is on conspiracy theories, social media, and the dangers of radicalization. In the modern age, more so than ever, the intersectionality between social media and information is becoming one and the same. And we will delve into the complexity of the interplay between these two phenomena in this presentation today. Its impacts on society, its origins, and the role of how social media plays a role and what does it contribute. In this age of information where social media dominates our lives and the internet dictates our reality, humans are driven to explain the unexplainable. The complexities of our modern society are rife with a lot of tragedy that we hear about on the news, corruption, and political inquiries, and often they elude, due to their complexity, a complete understanding for us. In response, humans naturally create narratives. Some may call conspiracy theories. These theories are defined by the Internet of Encyclopedia Philosophy, are actually defined that involve a group of agents conspiring as a central element. That's it. From the COVID vaccine conspiracy theories to political mechanisms, these narratives have far-reaching consequences, fostering a distrust of our basic government and our governmental institutions. Over COVID, it was seen with the World Health Organization or even United States organizations such as the FDA or the CDC. The main problem we have is the persuasive impact of social media on our contemporary culture has really altered the way we communicate and comprehend these topics. Conspiracy theories, in particular, are propagated on social media and leads to a significant increase in distrust of institutions and government. The central concern is that there's potential harm that can result from these extreme beliefs, not even just in the way we vote, but in actually radical, abnormal political actions that could be detrimental to society. This was seen a lot past COVID. You contributed a lot of that to the insurrection on the Capitol on January 6, 2021, during the confirmation of the 2020 presidential election. You see how these dangers can really play out in public, and had that gone a couple steps further, we could be looking at a drastically different United States today than we have right now. The study that I'm proposing aims to understand the extent of which social media exacerbates the spread of conspiracy theories and contributes to the radicalization. These beliefs indeed do lead to real-life decisions and consequences that have negative effects on society, and we must combat this issue. By understanding how social media and conspiracies intersect, we can then try to amplify a solution and work towards a more cohesive society operating on a consistent set of facts. Right? Everyone can have their opinion, but when we're operating on different sets of facts to make decisions, that's when major problems start to arise. Human communication has evolved tremendously throughout history, with the advent of social media turning the internet into a new public square. Conspiracy theories, as we've explored, are plans to overthrow authority, violate rights, conceal secrets, or modify institutions in any way. The psychological root of conspiracy theories lie in our evolutionary ability or justification to simplify complex patterns, and as society develops, it gets more and more complex. Governments, organizations, corporations, all these things become more and more complex as time goes on. And as humans, we want to understand these things, and it takes a lot of time to. And often we will come up with other alternative explanations that make things in our mind make more sense. Research indicates that modern belief in conspiracy theories is associated with increased political engagement, while extreme beliefs may lead to non-normative, potentially illegal political activities. Additionally, the erosion of institutional trust is linked to economic uncertainty and government inefficiency. If people don't trust the government's less likely to do something. Contrary to the belief in a significant rise of conspiracy theory beliefs, some studies suggest that these theories spread through social media, but it's not that necessarily contributes to even more people believing these theories, but actually just to the further radicalization of the people that already believe them. These are really important things to consider going forward. Platforms such as Facebook and YouTube play crucial roles in this dissemination and perpetuation of conspiracy theories. We even saw this in the 2016 election, where a lot of people accused the pro-Trump side of actually getting a lot of help through stories perpetrated through Facebook and things like that. The methodology is we're adopting a qualitative approach to examine the relationship between these theories, institutional trust, and social media. Rather than focusing the extent of how people believe, right, that's already kind of been delved into and we continue to evolve, we're more interested in understanding the patterns and how these phenomena intersect. The influence of personal anecdotes and the development of these beliefs, the role of social media content, and the sequence of how institutional and conspiracy theories play a role, and how much they incline people to go towards disruptive behavior. Overall, the exploration into the realm of conspiracy theories is revealing a complex interplay of psychological, evolutionary, societal, political, and all these different types of factors. And the impact that these theories have are not yet fully understood. The socioeconomic extent and context of which the ramifications of these things, of how social media and how all these things intersect with each other, are not yet found. And as we navigate this brand new age of social media, which has only really come about in the last decade or so, we want to understand and through our understanding, mitigate these ideas spreading to a point where we'll have negative impacts on society. For me, general tips that I am giving to anyone who wants to do a presentation like this, do a research paper like this, propose a study, right? You need to clearly define your research question and objectives very well. Once you have that, you're building your skeleton frame. like you're building a literal person, building a skeleton. If you don't have a good skeleton, the rest of it's not going to come out right because it's flawed from a fundamental level. And then you see a well-articulated problem statement that guides the methodology and guides everything for the project, right? And when choosing a topic, this is really difficult. But when choosing a topic, you have to take an idea that interests you, and then you have to narrow it down and hone in as much as you can, and keep narrowing it down until you really can't narrow it anymore, and then that's the topic. Because often we have these really broad ideas we want to get into, and it's almost impossible to write a research paper on an idea that's so broad. So we need to really focus in and hone in on one specific subject and kind of research it from there. Thank you all so much for listening to my presentation today, and I hope you enjoyed it.
All right, so I'm going to come back and collaborate. We're going to go on camera here, so let's give Fred a round of applause. You know he's up here. He did a really good job pre-recording his presentation. We do have a couple people in the room, so hello to our online, well, I'm here in person. I mean, this is an online class, but we have an audience here. So do you guys have any questions for the students?
My question is, since they're bachelor students, how did the journey from going from associate to bachelor go?
All right. So the question was, you know, if anybody who's in the room, so I don't know if Nicole, Javi, Yadira, or Akinados, if any of you have gone from like, if you start with the associates and went into bachelors, we have a couple freshmen in the room, so they're just wondering about like your overall journey. So do you have anything that you'd like to share with them about your journey?
This is Nicole. I did my associate and now I'm doing my bachelor's. My experience has been great. I have had a lot of help from my professors. And if you have any questions about anything or you guys need help with anything, I am here to help you. You could tell Professor McDonald to give you my information. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Dr. Coltman, do you have any questions for us or any comments? I know you were jumping between sessions, but I want to give people a chance. I know that we're running a little bit late.
No, I just wanted to say congratulations to your students. I popped into about 3 of the sessions tonight. I see some of your presenters here that were in the hip hop session as well. Just excellent presentations all around. I am so very proud of each of you. So thank you, Professor McDonald, and to the students. Great job all around.
Yes, and these guys in here, a lot of them in here did poster presentations. So it's a very, very successful night. So I want to thank everybody for joining. This is officially, I think, the last, we're the last group that's wrapping up tonight. But with that being said, we've had a fabulous return to our honors conference evening. And as I said in the opening remarks earlier this evening, we couldn't do it without, any of you guys. Thank you to our administration, Dr. Coltman, and all the people who are supporters of the honors program, students, staff, and faculty alike. So these guys, I wish you could get home safely. If you're home already, good for you. All right, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a great evening. Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.